Shout out to Mercury retrograde. Y'all gonna hear my fan in the background. It be hot. Welcome back to Creatively Exposed, where we rehumanize the creative one episode at a time. Apparently, one episode a month. We shall see. It's in progress. And anyway, let me stay focused because I got something on my spirit. A note on self-preservation. And I'm specifically talking to the Black, brown, indigenous, marginalized people of color, right? In the room. If you are outside of that and you feel seen, wonderful. But a note on self-preservation. I feel like I come from a generation where self-preservation is not taught to us. And if you have, I'm glad, right? I don't know if it'll get into the creative, but like we are people. We are humans. And the level of self-preservation that is needed in a raggedy, violent, faith-breaking world that we live in, where the systems are indeed working as they should, is important. And I was trying to put on my headphones, but we're gonna rock. You're gonna have an authentic sound in the background. And I literally have like 2 minutes. Anyway, I'm trying to jump into something. Anyway, part of self-preservation. What does self-preservation mean? Let's backtrack. Self-preservation as in ensuring your well-being first, and in making a decision that regardless, it may hurt, it may be uncomfortable, it may be scary, but in the end, it benefits your safety and your well-being on a holistic level, right? Not just immediate, but long-term, I think is very, very important. And to add to that, I will say part of self-preservation is receiving community care. A lot of us, it's easy to give care, but part of the things that help us move forward in life, in the grander sense of things, is not only exacerbating ourselves to prove a value in giving care, even if it's subconsciously or programming, but allowing our spaces to be spaces where we fall apart, where we unwind ourselves, where we can grieve, where we don't have to be avoidant to the things that have been causing us harm. Because many times there's someone who either has been through it, is going through it, and knows, this is the particular care that we need in this moment. And the crazy thing I think about self-preservation is the reason why it's so scary is that there is a lack of foundational boundaries, I guess, for the lack of foundational protection that I think a lot of us have not been taught, right? It's easy to tell your best friend who's with a shitty person, leave that motherfucker. All the while we're in shitty jobs that abuse us, friendships, romantic, platonic, relationships, even with religion, spirit, food. Like, there's so many things that are harmful to us, and we live a life of finding our way back to loving ourselves as people apart from the external bullshit that comes into our lives. And self-preservation includes leaving the people behind that you wanted to come with you. It includes creating some distance from a parent who forces you to be the parent and to do the relationship of child and parent on your own. It includes standing up for yourself. It includes softening and being vulnerable with the people that you can do that with. It includes replacing the people that you can't do that with, right? And these are all extremes. It can be different variations and varying degrees to how we move through life. And it's not individualism, but it is realizing that just as much care we may give to others, we must give that to ourselves. I can't want you to be free and I'm not working on my own freedom. Personally, locally, communally, neighborhood-wise, however. And this is just me. It's my stream of consciousness right now. It's just, I've been asking myself, why do we live a life of hating ourselves? And we're trying to undo it forever, when that was never our default, because other people told us so, right? You're not good enough. Well, fuck you then. You know what I'm saying? But having the spoons, the audacity to do that isn't easy. And this is why we also need people in our life to be like, girl, what? What do you mean? This is what they told you, right? Sometimes we normalize pain. We normalize dysfunction because we don't know anything else. We normalize having less than when there's so much out there because society tells us you're on this level of society and this is all you finna get. And I think self-preservation is also going against that grain. I don't know. I don't have a this is the full point of what this is supposed to be, but it is a question. How does this tie into being creative? Literally, being a creative is going against the mold. It's going against what everyone has told you because it's almost compulsive. The need to create something out of nothing, right? The need to create this visual download from whatever ethers that they come from. And in that, community can be cultivated and nurtured. I've had the honor of a 3-part series at MoCA, North Miami. And my favorite part of it is that everyone came open. It's adults. It was adults. And so open-hearted, regardless of what was going on, people came to the page. They came to do artwork, and it is a level of communing. And I think that is also a part of, it's one of the parts of self-preservation: play, creativity, being in community. You came for yourself, right? To enjoy yourself. And you end up sharing ideas, having conversations, connecting with others, seeing life is an exquisite corpse. Boom. And as morbid as that sounds, like, an exquisite corpse is literally, it can be artwork or writing. And you write a sentence and you can fold the paper or whatever. That's what we did. We folded the paper. That was the last class. And the next person adds a sentence. They don't know what you wrote. And the next person doesn't know what you wrote, but it makes a wonderful poem. Even with the little parts that don't make sense. When you bring yourself to a space as honestly as possible, right? Sometimes we have our doors closed and our closets full and we're hiding and we're putting our life camera on a specific angle to avoid the mess that's everywhere. But let life surprise you with the beautiful poetry that is coming into creative commune through self-preservation, receiving community care, standing up for yourself, taking gentle, compassionate care of your body, and not in a way of like, oh, I need to lose 30. No, as in like, I need water now, right? Like, I need to hydrate. Let's hydrate. I need rest. Let's rest without being guilty of resting, right? Let me be more curious about what people mean when they say I'm not enough, right? Get on your Oprahs. Like, am I not enough? Or is your bandwidth low for what I have to give? Am I too much because you weren't allowed to be too much? Let's ask more questions instead of accepting projections, said and unsaid. I think we'd get a lot more art out into the world. I think we'd have more space for finishing things without saying, oh, this sucks, I'm a terrible writer. I think we don't need as much anguish and suffering to complete a project. I think we can be satisfied with what we've done so far. I think we can celebrate putting one word on the damn page as much as putting 30,000 words on the page. Whether it's published or not, where we get yeses or nos, and just being like, I am here and I am showing up and I am doing my best and I am open. And so that is what I got. I gotta run. But I wanted to share this stream of consciousness with you. And so if it resonates, I mean, y'all don't be talking to me, but I still appreciate you listening. But if you wish to say something or share something, hit me on the socials, Creatively Exposed, the X, no E, on Instagram, and Creatively Xpod on Twitter, or however you finna find me. So, pas oublier où c'est magique. Do not forget that you are magic. No te olvides que eres magia. I will see you next month, I guess. Also, P.S. if you'd like to vote for me in the Ignyte Awards, I am under creative nonfiction. I am Liz Flo. The article, essay, CNF is Magic in the Roots. It's a long title, but Magic in the Roots is the gist of it. And I'm going to throw that into the show notes. Shameless plug, Voodoonauts is also there for community. Ebony J. Dunbar. There's a whole bunch of folks, but also if you are looking for Black, brown, marginalized folks that you'd like to read in the speculative space, this is where you discover the folks that you would like to read. So check everyone out. There's so many dope people and great talent in these nominations. But I'm gonna say, hey, I'm a finalist. Like, I ain't never win nothing before, so holla at your girl. And I just finished my third class in 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐡, and man, facilitating writing workshops is my jam. Like, teenagers and up, it's lit. Like, I really do enjoy adults because I think it's a part of healing inner child work, and the makers series in general at 𝐂𝐚𝐬 allows for adults to play, to create art, to connect with art, and it has been nothing but internally generative for me to be able to be the writing portion to the artwork while also having created artwork. So shout out to 𝐂𝐚𝐬𝐡. Check them out. They are a smaller museum in North Miami, but they currently have Manuel Mathieu exhibit until October, and he is a Haitian artist who is living in Toronto. And more on the abstract side, but I think having been able to like hear the artist, hear where his mind is at, and see the exhibit like multiple times has given me a new perspective on art. Not like, oh, I'm gonna get dressed up and look at the, it's more of like, oh, I've been able to like really listen to the artwork, and therefore we also create art. So it's been dope. Also, Voodoonauts weekend. Wow, what a full circle. I'm so, so, so elated. Like, they don't understand how much I stand Voodoonauts. It really kind of boosted my trajectory to like, this is kind of what I've been looking for. And I didn't know this is how I could do it. And to be literally 4 years later as a facilitator, what? For poetry, speculative poetry, which is my sweet spot, my jam, and if you don't know what speculative poetry is, it's basically poetry that has elements of sci-fi, fantasy, and technology in there. I also include magical realism. As a Black Caribbean woman, I'm also talking about spirituality, and I lean towards Afrofuturism, which focuses on envisioning Black folks across the diaspora in a different space. Specifically me, liberated, imagining what it looks like to be joyful and abundant and free from a lot of the things that we are not free from here. So all that to say, if you're looking for workshops, like if you want either wellness workshops, for those who don't know, I have a crystal shop, and it's not just crystals. I do astrology readings, I do tarot readings and guidance, and there's tarot decks for sale, indie tarot decks that I'm usually looking for independent folks. There's different herbs, so like I have a little bit of sage, but I'm waiting for it to run out. I won't be buying more sage just because of ethics and I don't like to abuse ancestral indigenous things, right? Like things that are sacred. And so I got some Palo Santo that also needs to get up out of there. The shop is closed, but until September, because I gotta rest. Energetically, it does pull on me. So, but all that to say is like, I also do focus on like spiritual wellness, holistic wellness, and if you want to get technical, poetry, form. I've done science fiction classes. So, closed mouths don't get fed. So if there is somebody in a museum, in a school, in a corporate setting that wants storytelling, or wellness, and right, it can be and or, um, get with me, holla at me. I'll put down the socials that way if you want to like send a DM, what have you. I also have my email button on all of my socials, I believe. If not, get to me. You will find me on the social waves for sure. And so, shout out to Voodoonauts. They really, I need people to send sponsorships and grants and funding to these folks because they're really creating free spaces where Black writers across the globe come together in community, and it's not being done that way anywhere else. Black speculative writers from east to west in the globe, you have different countries in Africa, all across the US. This is across time zones. They've reached 100 people in 3 years. Send these people funding, okay? The people who are doing the work need funding. We need community, but we also need people to pour into these communities because some of these organizations that have the funding don't even reach this far and are not as passionate and intentional around this work. So I'm gonna see what info I can put for them. But it's definitely grassroots vibes, and so yeah, I wanted to share that in addition to the self-preservation episode. It's just like a little PS update of where I'm at, and stay tuned for my YouTube if you are down for tarot readings. I have some not safe for work tarot readings as well as moon readings. I tend to do those the new and the full moons, so stay tuned on that side. I will see you next month. I will say next month, okay? So be well, be safe, and do not forget that you are magic.